So this is Rio. He's a horse we've been working with. He was dubbed as a kid's horse. Noted to be a little bit spooky, very slab-sided, very hard-mouthed. Whenever we started working with him, he was very pull and go type of horse. Didn't work off the rein, did not work off the leg. It took about 5 or 6 days before he finally started to come into himself, and we realized he does actually know these things, but it has probably been a long time since he's been asked of them. So it took a lot of knocking off the rust to get him to that point where he is now moving off the rein and moving off the leg. In this video, it's only walk trot. That was specified by the owner. Since he's a husband horse, we don't necessarily want him knowing how to lope big circles and all these kind of things just yet. The husband just plans to walk and trot and do trails, so we just really needed to focus on getting things right at the walk, at the trot. So he does know head down cue. Again, this is very rusty with him. You'll see I may ask a couple times and he'll either drop it way too far and we'll have to pick his head back up, or he'll pick it up and not quite know when to put it down. So he's still figuring it out. He's kind of guessing, as you can see. He has a very bumpy trot. It's not very rhythmic or consistent, so that's something he also pretty much needs work on. We have worked on instilling a little bit of rhythm in him over this past week as well. So you can see he kind of drops his head a little bit whenever I ask him. He's dropping it lower than his withers, so that's lower than I want him to drop his head. But he is responding, so I'm not getting after him, I'm just simply correcting him. So what we're working on as he's moving is I'm really moving him off my leg. Yes, we're using some rein, and yes, we're asking for it. We're not pulling him in the direction that we need him to go. I'm specifically asking him with my leg and just with an indirect rein. And you'll see I go ahead and pick up a whole bunch of kind of figure eights and serpentines. What we're doing is working on a lot of like lateral type movements, not necessarily on the ground as far as moving left, moving right, but we are asking him to move out in circles of left or right, left or right, left or right. The reason we're doing that is because we're still instilling into him that neck rein and moving off the leg, and by doing figure eights, circles, serpentines are going to be your main ways to teach him how to do that. So you don't see me flexing this horse out a lot. He really, really, really needs it. It just happens to be in this video. I've already flexed him in the beginning. He is very hard as far as flexing him. So one thing I would recommend whenever riding him and working him, you need to just flex him as much as you can. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Because he's very heavy in your hands. And he will take a while to get used to that. You can't expect very much out of him very soon. Now you'll notice I'm kind of jumping off, jumping back on, bouncing around, making sure he's not spooky, making sure he's not going to do anything silly. The owners noticed that he was a little bit watchy, so I do some kind of things on him to test that, to see if he's going to be spooky about certain things. So right there, you saw him kind of really drop his head. Yes, I did ask him to bring it down. He kind of went down way farther than I needed him to. And instead of getting after him, you just simply correct him. Say, hey, I need you to bring your head up just a little bit. So now you can see I'm strictly neck reining him.